Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine, and I just wanted to say a few words about the sad passing of Tina Turner. And with any of these tribute videos that I do, this is dedicated to Tina's family and fans around the world. And there are obviously so many tributes going out across the internet, YouTube, websites and blogs, across the news channels, from people who knew Tina, who are obviously musicologists, in the knowledge of Tina Turner's wonderful music, and she truly was iconic. So what can I do to pay respects to such a wonderful global talent like Tina Turner? As with any of these, I can only talk from my own experience, and what I want to try and do is just be a music fan and show you how Tina Turner connected at different times through my life, and to kind of show that you don't have to be someone that owns all the albums and went to all the concerts, whatever, but that certain artists just dip in and out of your lives at different points. And so even though you may not have a huge collection by a specific artist, they've still been part of your journey through life. And for me and Tina Turner, it's in 1973 when I'm 14 years of age, and there's a single that's recently been out called Nutbush City Limits. I remember Pete Townshend in Sounds giving it the thumbs up because it had synthesizer on it, and he was really into anything with the synthesizer on it. And I remember I didn't have much money. I used to get about 15p a week, pocket money or something ridiculous. And we went to a local newsagents at school. In the school lunch hour, I used to go to newsagents, and they used to have jukebox records. And one of them was Nutbush City Limits. I bought that, and I bought, I think, Cozy Powell's Dance with the Devil. And I played Nutbush City Limits over and over again. It was a really loud record. I tried to find it this morning. It's in the garage somewhere. Probably turn up as soon as I finish doing this. But it's a really loud record, 45 RPM single. And I remember we used to go to, I had a friend that did like a school disco, and when he ever put Nutbush City Limits on, it was really loud, a bit like Sabbath's Paranoid, really loud pressing. And there was something about her voice. It was very gritty, very soulful, very ballsy, very rock. You see, because obviously all the kind of Tamla Motown, Aretha Franklin's and Diana Ross's, they were purely soul in my ears. My young ears, I was becoming very attuned to rock music. But Tina Turner bridged that. She broke. There was no defining Tina Turner to necessarily a specific genre. Now, fans of specific genres might say Tina belongs to us, but she actually crossed over from one to the other. And I think when she split up with Ike, there were quite a few, which she's trying to find her feet, and she had to do different things. I mean, she covered Zeppelin and all sorts of stuff on early albums. And so she was seen as a rock singer in some quarters. And to kind of stress that, the next time, from 1973, where I really became aware of Tina Turner again, and this time I think I was about 16, was Tommy, when she played the Acid Queen in the film. And I always preferred the movie version to Tommy than the actual studio album version. That's just me. Maybe it's because I saw it at the pictures, and it really, this version of Tommy is one of my favourites. And I think Tina Turner as the Acid Queen is absolutely perfect casting, isn't it? Where basically she just looks like she's playing herself. That was her stage personality, the energy, the presence of Tina Turner in that film is how she appeared on stage as the decades rolled by, really. And then, of course, I didn't encounter her again in my life until I think it was this album, Bryan Adams. In fact, I'm just going to jump around it because I've just suddenly thought of something else. Why I felt she was kind of a rock kind of leaning star. Book of a Talisman by Deep Purple. But is it any possible that Phil Askin can do any video and somehow find a way of bringing Deep Purple into it? It was River Deep Mountain High, because I knew that was something that Ike and Tina Turner done with Phil Spector's wall of sound production. So that was another thing that kind of attached her to my kind of rock kind of sensibilities. But this album, which of course was an absolute monster hit, wasn't it, for Bryan Adams? So the one that broke him through. And you know, it's Only Love, the duet with Tina Turner, is just absolutely brilliant. It's a brilliant match for those two wonderful talents. It really is. And the other thing, of course, was Live Aid. I mean, Live Aid was something that I think by the time that rolled around, I was completely heavy metal man. But everybody on earth stayed at home that day to watch Live Aid. And it was obviously, you know, we all know about Queen, and, you know, how they literally boosted their back catalogue in 10 minutes. One of the most iconic performances of all time. But there were other ones in there, and one of the ones that really, well, there were two, they're connected. And it was obviously Mick Jagger and David Bowie, you know, doing their thing. But it was also Mick Jagger and Tina Turner doing that duet. The sparks were flying, weren't they? I remember all the press talking about it, but I remember watching it. You know, two people with tremendous respect for each other, two absolutely, I'm saying it again, the word iconic, wonderful performers in their element. You know, Tina Turner, Mick Jagger, and they, you know, they weren't teenagers. They were, through the eyes of us fans, they were older statespeople of rock music. But the way that they bounced off each other, and that bit, Mick Jagger pulls her, a dress off and everything towards the end. It was just electrifying. The dancing, the entertainment aspect, and the pure passion of using music to connect, to connect humans around the world, which was, for that day, was a wonderful cause. Everyone gave their time towards. But it was absolutely brilliant. And of course, behind this, of course, she was back on track. She'd reinvented herself. She got a wonderful team of songwriters behind her with Private Dancer. And then the album that everyone I knew had, which was Foreign Affair. And I've reviewed this box set on this channel and the website. And this is a wonderful document to have. It's got... Private Dancer is on as a B-side, Steamy Windows. I'm just bouncing around here. But of course, the track that I really, really love was The Best. And I've always found Simply the Best, which of course is a hashtag, isn't it, for Tina Turner. It really became her calling card, and it is a rock song in many, many ways. But I think that, whereas I mentioned earlier that she was different than the kind of, the divas of Diana Ross and those kind of people, she was very different. Tina Turner had balls. She could move over from one thing to the other, and she must have influenced so many contemporary artists as well, like Beyonce. And some of you might think, well, Beyonce is very different. Beyonce's dabbled with rock. Dabbling a bit as well. I mean, she's had Nuno Bettencourt as a guitarist for many years from Extreme. But when you watch those Tina Turner classic concerts and DVDs and stuff, and go to YouTube, you can see, the dynamism that she had as a performer. And so that this video is to try and pay tribute to the wonderful talent, and also as a human being. She had a very, very tough life, a life that many of us would crumble if we had to cope with that. The first marriage and the abuse with Ike, later on in life, losing her two sons, one suicide and cancer, and of course her own health issues with stroke and cancer and having a kidney transplant. And she's still, when you watch the later concerts, the drive, she's just kept going. She just kept going. And it must have been so difficult at times. But she is an artist. She's one of those artists that crossed over, as I said earlier, a bit like Queen. Rock, soul, pop, funk. She connected with so many people. And that's what I wanted to try and do in this video is to say that even if you don't feel as if you are qualified to say something about Tina Turner, look back through different aspects of your life and she pops up on different albums as a guest artist, on different things, films, and she has touched so many different points in classic moments in rock and pop since it began, really. I mean, we go back and obviously she was there in the early to mid 60s and right up until now, and the music, of course, will live on. So thank you for watching, and thank you for listening, and thank you for being here. And if you listen to anything today, then listen to this album, or dip into The Who and Acid Queen from the classic Tommy, or simply The Best, which is probably simply the best. So take care, everybody, stay safe, and I shall talk to you very, very soon.